What up, y'all? I'm back with another review, and I'm here to review the newest studio album from Elucid entitled I Told Bessie. Now, I must admit, I wrote this review on oklo.com. I haven't even published it yet, actually. I have the draft here right in front of me on my screen, and only writing the review was my original plans for reviewing this album. I didn't plan on recording a video review for this. But then I found myself digging deeper into the album, re-listening, adding more onto the review, and now I find myself doing this. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I believe I speak on every track on the album, all 13 tracks. This album is almost 40 minutes long, by the way. Yeah, every track. Some tracks with less to say than others. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The first track, Spelling, with three L's. This beat, it's like the beat was laced, infused with heroin. It just feels so good. um, One of my favorite quotables, well, there are two that are listed here. If you seek understanding, you should jam this where you are. And the next quotable is, just got to heaven and I can't sit down. These are the two most fitting quotables, given how this song manifests. And in a sense, I want to say how the album manifests. And just that second quotable, just got to heaven and I can't sit down. Like, this beat is like, it's like, this is like, is this what heaven feels like if it's there? It's like, I'm here and I can't sit down. I have to just stand and admire this, take all of this in awe. Now, the next track, Bunny Chow, which on the first couple listens, I didn't have much to write at all. Billy expresses rocks being in his head and that he didn't listen right. So I'm taking from that, I guess he was hard headed. And some other quotables here, he talked about how, well, if you ask him, he ain't there. The body rest. That's one quote. And then another one is, knew it, but reminders hit like strays. Uh, it's I like the kind of self-awareness. It's like I've known this certain thing. Maybe it's about himself or about a certain situation. He's known it for a long time, but the reminders they just hit like strays. Um, what he could mean by that part in particular, how they hit like strays, who knows? Like maybe the impact of the hit, or how they just come along every now and again like a stray cat, dog, who or whatever. It's hard to figure guys like Elucid out. And Billy, of course, them being a part of Arm& Hammer. And Billy is featured on this album like three times, if I remember correctly. Anyway, this next track, Old Magic. This time, the beat is more so laced with ecstasy. It's so amazing. Here, Lucy talks about how you need a double portion of protection for him and his niggas since, well, just being out here, like, niggas trying to be, well, not trying to be, but by others. They're trying to skin them alive. They're trying to skin us alive, and exercise our innocence, drink our blood while we accumulate the bruises, and how it's just Babylon all on us and all around us. And this next track, Sardonyx. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Sardonyx, featuring Billy Woods, Quelle Chris, and Pink Sifu. This is just a freaking collection of some of my favorite artists of the last 4 or 5 years. uh, and to be honest, um, it's really Sifu's verse that resonates with me the most. But no one slacked here. And Sifu talked about how day and night they outside. And for those of y'all who know the reference, they outside. They say dead white face is supposed to keep you alive. So if I flip a couple bands, I'm supposed to be fine. If you get the reference, great. If you don't, check out Raspberry by Fly Anakin and Pink Sifu off that Fly Sifu's album in 2020. And Sifu also talked about how niggas be out here online making more money, dying live on camera. But he also talks about how he plans to stay alive in the end. Now this next track, Ghoulie. This sounds like not bitches brew, not witches brew, but Niggas brew. This soup of this beat and the vocal metamorphosis throughout the throughout the track. It's just like a soup. It's niggas brew. It's some real ghoulish shit. Like it's all so fitting. This next track, Smile Lines. This is a bit rap rockish in a sense. I almost called it new metal when I first heard it, but I was like, no, this isn't exactly new metal. It doesn't have that, that thing about it, which makes new metal, or at least makes people consider it new metal. This is more rap rockish, and I have three quotes to drop on you here. Uh, and this one was more towards the end, actually. Looking like I got it, because you ain't got it either. Who can really tell the difference? There's information and wait, there's information and more information. I messed up here. There's more information. No, there's information and just information. The difference between loneliness and being lonely. And this last one, I'm where the chosen won't choose. Freaking elusive, man. What the fuck does he mean by some of this shit? I almost didn't want to record this review now because I feel like I'm just gonna grow with this album, like grow to understand it more and see where Elucid is coming from. That's part of why I didn't want to, but part of the reason why I didn't want to is because I've already kind of gone through this on over the first few listens, just not understanding, then understanding, but still having that feeling like there's more to this. But I wanted to give this review to y'all raw. Maybe one day there will be an updated review about it. We'll see. Now this next track, No Strand or No Strand. Uh, Here, Lucid talks about how the world is different when you're in the back of a police car, and how every day he walks past those who are begging to live, walking past the living dead, and just talking about how, um, and I'd imagine, given the kind of socially conscious MC that Elucid is, when he says power, you don't know what to do with it. He could also be talking about politicians, but specifically, he talks about someone who has a gun and he's telling them to be careful where you step. Like, are you sure you want to rep that? And he said, the art of getting over comes with extra get back. He didn't say comes with, but I just kind of added that in there based on where I think he's going with this, or where I think he's coming from, what he's trying to say. And this next track, Impasse. This is a weirdly calming but also eerie beat. It's like it takes a different step. Like there's a different direction here, even given the similarities that you find on the beats on Spelling and Old Magic. And this, what I'm getting here is Elucid kind of accepting a couple deaths here. Like just being back and it's like, okay, just come take me, like the physical death, but also the ego, which is kind of attested to on the next track, which is one of my faves, Mangosteen, featuring Billy Woods. It was Billy. Was it Billy that I want to say? Or it might have been Elucid towards the end of his verse, the first verse, saying that pride is fleeting, but it has him decent. And also talked about how his shadow is as big as his light. But it was Billy, I know for sure, that said, my sleep app is niggas arguing and wailing sirens. That's rough. That's rough. Now this next track, Split Tongue. Here the loose one, as I wrote down, the loose one being Elucid. He did say in a previous track that split tongue thrills women, but it kills men. So let's just take a look at how that kind of manifests here, in my opinion. Tongues untied, I'm quoting here. Tongues untied, conjure. Lungs wide, deep in power. Gut bucket spill over. The sounds were the strangest. The sounds were the strangest before word was formed in the beginning. Vibrating flesh and teeth, air escapes. Calling your name when least expected. Stirring spirit, chaos directed. No strays, no mistakes. Possession, possession. True and living, rooted rhythm. Spilling game, full up with feeling. I'm so full up with feeling. Can I touch you there? Here, see, I feel like he's kind of killing men with his just esoteric delivery and just his lyrics. And as far as thrilling women, it was just towards the end there when he said, "Can I touch you there?" I was like, "Huh? Who knows? Who knows?" Now this next track, Jumanji, featuring Billy Woods. which I believe, yeah, I believe, and I'm right, that I had the lyrics up on Genius for this track because I was like, I have to read not all of the lyrics, but some of them. I already wrote One Piece. Good anime, by the way. One Piece. I haven't seen it, but I know that it's good. I've seen some of it. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Fucking ADHD. Jumanji featuring Billy Woods. I think it was Billy here that said that he gave a fuck or gives a fuck just to feel something. Um, and just, what was it that Billy said here? um, Imagineering crack out the nest egg. They thinking because they thought it, then I had to hear it. My center black empiric, now get back to business. Elucid man, this is just what he does. This is just who he is. He just makes you think. He'll make you rethink. He might make you overthink. It's like I sometimes I've actually found myself wondering when going over the draft for this review. I was like, I wonder if these guys don't give too many hints. I mean, the hints are there, but they just put it out there, not just for them, of course, but to see how other people receive it. And of course, that's what artists do in a sense anyway. But I wonder if it's kind of just for the laughs. Like, what I'm going to say this: what could this person who's listening, what could they possibly take from this? Could this be on point? Exactly what I was trying to say, or could it be completely, not necessarily unfounded, but just totally left field? I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Uh, and I almost forgot that Billy was featured on this track because he comes in on the third verse, the last verse, and it's such a short verse in itself. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this track, actually. And this next track, Betamax, and I have to say, this beat, like the scratches and the cuts along with it, I was like, hell yeah. And this feels like a relieving breakthrough in a sense. You'll see what I mean, or hopefully you'll see what I mean when I drop this quotable on you. I divorced a wild style and got a new one. Never forced it. Flowers, chose the blue ones. My thumb's green, my pinky's too. Baby's clean. My lady weighs me on the scale of truth. And he also said about, well, he said that this is a dead church and how he believes in black people. And I found myself wishing that this was the outro track, but then on the outro track, Guy R. Brewer. If I'm kind of slurring my words, I'm sorry. I'm a little tipsy, to be honest with you. um, but yeah, I learned and grew to appreciate this track, Guy R. Brewer, as the outro, given that it seems to serve as a self-reflection from the growth Elucid has experienced, like where he is now compared to then. And I don't just mean personally, I also, in a sense, mean this outro track compared to the beginning of the album. And yeah, all in all, man, this album is dope. I've always known that Elucid is dope. I believe this is my first review of a project of his. I've reviewed at least two Billy Woods projects, Known Unknowns, in 2017, I believe that was the year, and Hiding Places in 2019, 2019 or 2020. And I've reviewed an Arm& Hammer project. What was that called? Paraffin, I believe. It had the album cover was a sister with a baby in her hand, and something in white written behind her. But yeah, I'm glad to get an Elucid project under my belt because I've always known he's dope. I've kind of, in a sense, always fucked with him more, or in the very least, that feature that he had on Milo's project, Who Told You to Think? It was the song Landscaping. I loved his feature on that. That verse was just freaking fantastic. Like, I know it word for word. I can drop that as like a reference to how dope he is before any other track of his, or even Billy. So, like I said, just having Arm& Hammer under my belt and having Billy under my belt, it's good to finally get Elucid under mine as well. My favorite tracks were Spelling, Mangosteen, and off the top of my head, those are my two favorite. Oh, and Betamax, especially because of that beat. If you've heard this album, please let me know what you think about it in the comment section below and what you think about my review on it. And if you haven't heard this album, I definitely recommend that you check it out. Um, that's pretty much it, y'all. Be sure to hit the like button if you like this review, share the review, subscribe to the channel if you're new and like the content that you see. And I mean that, like, if you like the content that you see, not just this project, this review, go on my channel and like just see all the albums I've reviewed or mixtapes, EPs, albums I recommend, all that stuff. If you like the content that you see, feel free to subscribe. I'd love you to. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, fellow bloggers, anything you feel like doing. Again, I'm sorry, just a little tipsy. And that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all next time.